Hello and welcome back to QB Sports. Today, I have some great NFL content ready for you. With the NFL season having finished after a thrilling Week 17 and the playoff seedings having been determined, I am going to give you guys my full NFL 2021 playoff predictions. Now, although this video may not go up until after the wild card games have been played, just know that it is currently Monday, January 4th, and that this video has been recorded before the first games have been played. Now, in case you didn't know, the NFL has changed its playoff format for this year. 7 teams from the AFC and the NFC now will make the playoffs. The 1 seed gets a bye from the first round, the 2 seed plays the 7 seed, the 3 seed plays the 6 seed, and the 4 seed plays the 5 seed. And in the AFC, starting off with the number 1 seed, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. In the 2 seed, we have my favorite team, the Buffalo Bills. In the 3 seed, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the 4 seed, we have the Tennessee Titans. In the 5 seed, we have the Baltimore Ravens. In the 6 seed, we have the Cleveland Browns. And in the 7 seed, we have the Indianapolis Colts. In the NFC, in the 1 seed, we have the Green Bay Packers. In the 2 seed, we have the New Orleans Saints. In the 3 seed, we have the Seattle Seahawks. In the 4 seed, we have the Washington Football Team. In the 5 seed, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the 6 seed, we have the LA Rams. And last but not least, in the 7 seed, we have the Chicago Bears. And I will start my predictions in the AFC in the matchup between the 2 seed Buffalo Bills and the 7 seed Indianapolis Colts. Now, obviously, as a huge Bills fan, I want the Bills to win this one, but do I think they will? Their offense has been dynamite all season, led by Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Their defense has also really started to come alive recently. The Colts are led by their defense, and their offense features veterans such as Phillip Rivers and T.Y. Hilton. The Colts' offense is primarily led by their run game, including Jonathan Taylor, who put up an astounding 253 yards on 30 rushing attempts last week. Overall, though, I think that Bills fans like myself will be happy after this game, as I do predict that the Buffalo Bills will win this one, with a final score of 28-20. Moving on to the matchup between the 6 seed Pittsburgh Steelers and the 3 seed Cleveland Browns, a rematch of their Week 17 matchup in which the Browns won 24-22. However, the Steelers rested some key starters, most notably their quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, and having those guys back will give the Steelers an extra boost. The Browns' run game carried them to victory against the Steelers in Week 17, and Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb will both need to repeat their fantastic performances if the Browns want to win again. Ultimately, I think that Big Ben returning to the lineup for the Steelers will give them the extra boost they need to get an extra score or two, and I predict that the Pittsburgh Steelers will win this one with a final score of 26-23. Moving on to the matchup between the 4 seed Tennessee Titans and the 5 seed Baltimore Ravens. I predict that this one will be the best matchup of the first round, the one that I am most excited for, other than the Bills game, of course, and it will be an extremely close matchup. The Titans beat the Ravens earlier in the season. Derrick Henry ran wild on them, and if the Ravens want to win, then their defense will have to shut down Henry. Their defense has been pretty bad with missing tackles. They lead the league in that category, which is not good. However, the Titans' defense has overall been worse. And if the Ravens' run game, led by their quarterback Lamar Jackson, as well as a scary trio of running backs, can get going, then I do believe that the Ravens will be able to win this one. Overall, I think that the Titans' defense will let them down. Derrick Henry will just not be able to fully carry them to victory. And I think that the Ravens will win this very close, very high-scoring game with a final score of 38-35. And moving on to the NFC, starting off with the game between the 2 seed New Orleans Saints and the 7 seed Chicago Bears. I think that this one will be a blowout. The Bears barely squeaked into the playoffs with an 8-8 record. Mitchell Trubisky played well recently, but I don't think that will continue, especially if the Saints defense is able to step up. And overall, I think that the Saints just have too many weapons for the Bears to keep up. Drew Brees is getting up there in age, but he still is a pretty solid quarterback. Alvin Kamara and the entire Saints running back core will be returning for this one, and their wide receivers are very solid, even without Michael Thomas. Well, I do think that the Bears defense might be able to slow down the Saints offense a bit. The Bears offense won't be able to keep up, and I think that the Saints will win this one with a final score of 31-17. Moving on to the game between the 3-seed Seattle Seahawks and the 6-seed LA Rams. This is a rematch of the game from Week 16, which was a very low-scoring one. The Seahawks won 20-9. I do believe that this game will have a bit more scoring than that one, but not by much. The Seahawks struggled offensively against the San Francisco 49ers last week, although they turned it on once they went down by 2 touchdowns. And the Rams haven't scored a touchdown in their past 2 games and will likely be without their starting quarterback Jared Goff. However, the Rams defense can definitely carry them to victory. Aaron Donald is one of the best players in the game, and Jalen Ramsey is a top cornerback. The Seahawks have some great talent on defense as well, led by Bobby Wagner, a top linebacker, and Jamal Adams, a great safety. Overall, though, I think that the Seahawks' extra talent on offense, they're led by Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf, will propel them to victory, and I predict that the Seattle Seahawks will win this one with a final score of 24-13. And moving on to the matchup between the 4-seed Washington football team and the 5-seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The football team have barely squeaked into the playoffs. With a 7-9 record, they won the NFC East and got the 4-seed. Their defense is very strong, led by guys like Chase Young, who has been a top rookie this year. But the Buccaneers just have so many weapons offensively, such as Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans if he's healthy, and Chris Godwin. The Buccaneers' defense is also very solid, and the football team lack offensive stars. Overall, I think that the Buccaneers will be able to handle the football team fairly easily, although if the football team's defense really steps up, I could see an upset. I think that the Buccaneers will win this one with a final score of 31-17. And that wraps up the first round. Moving on to the second round, as you can see on screen here in the AFC, the matchups will be the 1-seed Kansas City Chiefs versus the 5-seed Baltimore Ravens and the 2-seed Buffalo Bills hosting the 3-seed Pittsburgh Steelers. In the NFC, we would have the Green Bay Packers, the 1-seed, hosting the 5-seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the 2-seed New Orleans Saints hosting the 3-seed Seattle Seahawks. And starting in the NFC, with the game between the 1-seed Green Bay Packers and the 5-seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this one will be a great battle. We finally get to see a playoff matchup of Rodgers versus Brady, 2 of the top quarterbacks of this past generation. I would say that Tom Brady has more offensive weapons, especially at wide receiver. He has 3 very solid ones, while Aaron Rodgers has Devontae Adams, who's probably the best wide receiver in the game right now, and then some other solid wide receiver 3s. The Packers have the defensive advantage. They're led by Jair Alexander, one of the top cornerbacks in the game, and their safeties and linebacker core is pretty strong too. Overall, I think that Aaron Rodgers will win the battle against Tom Brady. He's having an MVP caliber season, and I think that this will continue into the playoffs, and that the Packers will win this one with a final score of 28-24. And moving on to the matchup between the 2-seed New Orleans Saints and the 3-seed Seattle Seahawks, and I expect this one to be a fun game. Both teams have been a bit inconsistent. There are times when both offenses really show up, times when both defenses really show up, but there's rarely a time when both the offense and the defense show up for either of these teams. Overall, though, I do think that both of these teams will have solid performances from both their offense and their defense. However, I think that the Seahawks have more talent offensively than the Saints, even with Michael Thomas certainly returning for this. I think that the Seahawks will have an astounding game offensively, be able to handle the Saints defensively, and I think that the Seattle Seahawks, led by Russell Wilson, will win this extremely close game with a final score of 30-28. And moving on to the AFC, we are starting with our game between the 1-seed Kansas City Chiefs and the 5-seed Baltimore Ravens. This will be a fantastic contest. I really hope this one happens. It will be a must-watch. The Chiefs are led offensively with some of the best players in the world. Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback, Travis Kelce the best tight end, and Tyreek Hill's a top 5 wide receiver. As I said before, Lamar Jackson is a fantastic quarterback, especially as a scrambler. He has really come on strong at the end of the season, for sure back as a top 10, and you could argue that he's even back around a top 5 quarterback. However, the Ravens really lack wide receiver talent, and I think that will be a huge factor in this one. An offensive shootout that I see the Chiefs winning, with a final score of 35-31. And now the final matchup of the second round, a game that I predict to be between the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This will be a fun matchup. The teams met in Week 15, and the Bills came out on top. However, the Steelers were pretty cold at that time, and I think that they will start to heat up again. However, right now, the Bills are simply one of the hottest teams in football. They might even be the best team in football at this moment, and I think that just how hot they are, combined with the fact that they definitely have more talent than the Steelers, will lead them to victory. And I will be happy once again after this matchup, as the Bills will win this one with a final score of 31-21. And we have now reached the conference championships. In the AFC, I predict a fantastic matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. While in the NFC, I think that Russell Wilson and the Seahawks and Aaron Rodgers and the Packers will meet in the playoffs once again. And I will start in the AFC in the matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. And as a Bills fan, boy oh boy, do I hope that this game happens. I think that this will be a really good test for the Buffalo Bills. They have been super hot of late, but they still have yet to beat that super good team like the Kansas City Chiefs. And if they can do that, then I think that they will win the Super Bowl and cement themselves as the best team in football. However, do I think that they can beat the Chiefs? The Chiefs are just so fantastic. Josh Allen is a great quarterback, but Patrick Mahomes is better. I would say that while the Bills have amazing pass catchers, the ones the Chiefs have are just better. And I would say that the Chiefs running backs are also better than the Bills. Where the Bills certainly have the advantage is on the defensive side of the football. Their defense is once again one of the best in football, and I think that they will play a huge part in this game. Overall, though, I just think that the Chiefs having more talent will be able to lead them to victory in this extremely close game. I want to predict that the Bills will win it so bad. I do believe that they can, but in the end, I think that the Chiefs will pull out this game with a final score of 35-28. The Chiefs will win this one in overtime and advance to the Super Bowl. And in the NFC matchup between the 1 seed Green Bay Packers and the 3 seed Seattle Seahawks, I would say it's a bit less exciting than the Bills-Chiefs matchup. The Packers in this one are pretty clearly the better team. Aaron Rodgers is right now pretty clearly better than Russell Wilson. And I would say that the Packers' offense and defense is more consistent and overall better than the Seahawks. I think that the Seahawks will make it close, but I think that the Packers, led by a fantastic performance from Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, will pull out the win, and they will advance to the Super Bowl after they defeat the Seahawks 28-20. So I do predict that the Super Bowl will be between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers, both 1 seeds making it, and I think that the fact that they will have an extra week of rest will have a factor. This should be a very fun game. Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes looked like they were neck and neck in the MVP race, but a couple of weaker performances from Mahomes and stronger performances from Rodgers has me thinking that Rodgers will win it. However, I expect that Patrick Mahomes will get his revenge in this game. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs have a superior offense, the Packers have a superior defense, but I think that the Chiefs will be able to win this one, get their second straight Super Bowl, and that the Kansas City Chiefs will defeat the Green Bay Packers in Super Bowl LV with a final score of 31-24. So there you have it. I do predict that the Kansas City Chiefs will win the Super Bowl, their second straight one. I would say, in my opinion, the team with the second highest chance of winning it is the Buffalo Bills. Third would be the Green Bay Packers. Let me know down in the comments what you agree and disagree with. Follow me on Instagram at QB Sports. The link will be in the description. Thank you for watching, and with that, I'll see you in my next podcast. Bye.